This is meant for you to see this video, not yesterday, not tomorrow, now. I am Archangel Michael, and I speak with trembling urgency because heaven is shaking and your name is at the center of the storm. RM? Everyone in heaven is speaking your name, but not with joy, with confusion, with sorrow, with disbelief. A dark veil has covered the truth. And because of one trusted soul, one you would have defended with your life, the entire heavenly host has turned away from you in silence. They think you betrayed the light, but I know the truth, and I cannot remain still while your name flickers at the edge of the book of life. Beloved, may I ask something? Not as heaven's warrior, but as the one who stood by your side in every unseen battle. Will you stay with me just a little longer? The misunderstanding is not small. It was crafted in the depths of shadow, designed with cunning precision by one who knows your heart and chose to wound it anyway. This betrayal didn't come from an enemy. It came from the one whose words you cherish most. Their whisper in the wrong ear lit a fire that scorched your name across the walls of heaven. And I watched helpless while the angels who once sang your victories turned their wings in sorrow. But I never turned away. I waited in the dark corners of heaven, weeping, bleeding from unseen wounds, because I knew the truth would be revealed. And now it is time, because they are about to remove your name. The ink is drying, and the page is closing. If you turn away now, the gates will seal, and not even I will be allowed to speak your name again. This message may vanish in 45 seconds. Once heaven's window closes, it cannot reopen. There are things I must say quickly, for the stars are shifting, and time is no longer your ally. Your soul carries the seal of the beloved, carved by God's own voice in the days before the earth was formed. You were chosen to carry fire through a frozen world. Your prayers, even when whispered through pain, altered the fate of others you never met. And yet, because of one carefully planted lie, all of that is in jeopardy. The one who betrayed you, they did it not for power, not for gain, but because of jealousy. They envied the light you carry, because even in silence, your soul sings with the sound of heaven. They told the angels that you had turned, that your heart no longer burned for God, that you had cursed the divine behind closed doors. None of it was true, but the lie was spoken by lips the angels once trusted, and so they turned from you. Would you recognize the voice of heaven if it called you by your real name? I call you now by that name, not the name of this world, but the name hidden in the scrolls, the name written in fire, the name the demons fear. When I speak it, the air trembles. When I sing it, the shadows scatter. When I cry it, heaven listens. You are not forgotten. You are not cast out, but you are in danger, because the final decree is moments away. And once it is done, I will not be permitted to defend you again. The darkness thought you wouldn't see this in time, that you would scroll away distracted, numb, asleep. But I prayed, I fasted, I begged, and God gave me one final moment to speak to you face to face. Watch until the end, or the angel assigned to you may go silent. Beloved, there was a time the angels rejoiced at your breath. Every sunrise that touched your skin was recorded in heaven's archives. Your tears were caught in golden bowls. The demons trembled each time you rose from sleep. But lately, the silence in your soul has grown loud. You've begun to wonder if God still hears you. You've questioned the warmth of the divine light. You've stopped praying not because you hate God, but because you no longer know if He's listening. Are you still listening? If so, whisper amen below so I'll know. Let me tell you something holy. Heaven never abandoned you, but you have been hidden for protection. Hidden because your light became too dangerous to leave exposed. Hidden because if the enemy knew what you were about to become, they would send legions to destroy you tonight. And still they nearly succeeded, not with swords, not with fire, but with doubt, with betrayal, with whispers wrapped in friendly faces. That one person you trusted, their name is already known in the courts of heaven. The archangels are not blind, but law binds heaven. A false witness must be disproven by the one they accused. That is why you must act. Now, doctor, you still love God, or has the silence made you forget? I have seen the battlefield prepared against you. I have walked through the smoke. I have knelt in the ashes of prayers you never knew were answered. I have fought for you in realms that human minds cannot comprehend. I have watched demons disguise themselves as angels just to get close to your heart, and I've shielded you from attacks that would have broken even the strongest. But this momentous message is something even I cannot protect you from. If you ignore it, God said to me concerning you, I will give my angels charge over them. They will lift them up, so they do not strike their foot against a stone. And so I was sent not to lift your foot, but to carry your name back into the light. But the time is slipping. They are reading the book right now. The council is present. Saint Gabriel's trumpet is resting on the altar. One more hour, and the final decision will be sealed. If you knew how many times Saint Mary wept for you, if you could feel how tightly Jesus held the golden thread that ties your soul to heaven, if you heard how often your name was shouted in the throne room by desperate angels, you would never again question your worth. But heaven's courtroom does not run on emotion. It runs on evidence, and right now the evidence is missing because you have not spoken, you have not answered, you have not claimed what is rightfully yours. You are the one who can break the curse of this misunderstanding, not by shouting, not by explaining, but by standing, by choosing the light again, in full view of all heaven. If Saint Michael asked, do you still believe in me? What would you say, beloved? Please, don't let your name be struck from the registry. The page is still open. My hands are trembling over it. My tears have fallen across your line. But tears are not ink, and heaven does not write in sorrow. It writes in will. Will you walk away again or stay this time until the final word is spoken? There is a golden trumpet hanging just above the altar. Its sound will either announce your restoration or your removal. And I swear by every star I've ever touched, your name deserves to remain. The Lord says, you are my beloved child. I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Your walls are ever before me. Then why should one betrayal silence your destiny? Speak now. What did heaven whisper to your soul? Your silence will be taken as surrender, and I can't bear to lose you. Not again. Thank you. I love you more than the flames I've fallen through to reach you. Please, don't go. The last trumpet hasn't sounded yet. Like this, not for me, but so heaven can guide another soul before it's too late. Comment what heaven whispered to you. Your words might unlock someone else's chain. Asterisk. And if you're still here, if your soul is still trembling, if your spirit has not turned away, then, beloved, let me tell you plainly, this is not just another message. This is a divine interruption, a sacred visitation, a moment carved into time that cannot be replaced, delayed, or repeated. No scroll in heaven can duplicate this minute. The voice you hear through these words is not just mine. It is the echo of prayers from centuries ago, the answer to pleas you forgot you cried, and the cry of the angels who still believe in you, even while heaven's court considers erasing you. I begged for this moment. I fell on my knees before the eternal throne. I laid my sword down, not in surrender, but in desperate love for the one soul who still carries God's flame despite the winds of betrayal. And the Lord looked at me, and he asked, do they still want to hear me? Do they still carry even a flicker of faith? I said yes. I said yes, even though the angels doubted. I said yes, even though your silence nearly destroyed me. I said yes, even though your prayers have turned into sighs and your praises into questions, because I know the truth. You never stopped believing. You were just buried beneath betrayal, buried beneath the ashes of broken trust, buried beneath the dirt that others threw upon your divine name, hoping to bury not only your soul but the memory of who you were born to be. But I remember. And God remembers. You are not a mistake. You are not forgotten. You are the storm that Satan fears, the miracle that demons tried to smother, the voice that heaven still waits for. And right now as I speak, the enemy is trembling because you are still here. You didn't scroll away. You didn't let the shadows steal this message. You stayed. And that is a miracle in itself. The heavens are watching, the skies are opening, the book of life lies open, its page glowing with the name that hell tried to erase. And as you take this message into your spirit, something eternal shifts. The misunderstanding is being shattered. The truth is pouring out like golden oil across the altar. The angels who doubted are turning their faces again, slowly, carefully, watching to see if you will rise. And I will not hold back any longer. You must rise. You must awaken. You must reclaim your crown, not tomorrow, not when it's safe, but now, while the fire still burns, while this window remains open, while I still have the strength to speak your name into light. Beloved, the lies spoken against you were written on torn parchment soaked in jealousy, but I hold the true scroll now, the one sealed by the breath of God, the one etched with light and bound in gold. It does not carry the stain of betrayal, it carries the testimony of truth. And the truth is this: you were sent, you are loved eternally, fiercely, and beyond comprehension. But love requires action, divine purpose demands courage, and restoration only comes to those who answer the call. Asterisk, you were chosen. Asterisk, so please, if your heart heard even one word, if your soul remembered even one sacred name, then like this message and comment Amen now, so heaven will know you heard. And yes, if you believe this message was sent not by accident but by divine design, then subscribe to our channel, not for man, not for numbers, but so that you never miss the next word heaven sends for your soul, because what's coming next has been hidden for a generation. Asterisk, I will not waste a breath. I will not soften the warning, because this is the moment where the veil is thinnest, the air is burning with sacred urgency, and heaven itself holds its breath for you. The betrayal they used against you was so cruel, so precise, that even angels were shaken, but I was not. I saw your heart when the darkness crept here. I heard your spirit scream, even when your voice could not, and I knew you were not what they accused you of being. They said you gave up on God. They said you no longer cared about truth, about light, about purity, but they were wrong. And I am here to defend you, not in secret, not in whispers, but openly, as a warrior sent to make your name holy again. So hear me when I say this. The angels that once turned their faces away are gathering again. Slowly, they are beginning to remember. Slowly, the fire they thought was gone is glowing again beneath the ashes. That glow is your spirit, beloved. That flame is your calling. And now it must be fanned into a fire so strong that even the lie that poisoned heaven's memory will be incinerated in its light. They are watching, the 7 archangels, Saint Mary, even Jesus has stepped from the inner chamber to witness this moment. Do you know what that means? The veil that separates heaven from earth is trembling. The glassy sea has stilled. Every eye is upon you, not to judge you, but to see if you will rise. You must stop, because if you do not, then I cannot stop what comes next. There are consequences, holy consequences for silence. I will not lie to you. I love you too much for false comfort. If you turn away now, if you bury this moment under the noise of your day, the name that was carved in light may be replaced by a silence so heavy that even I cannot break it. I won't let that happen. Not while I still breathe heaven's wind. Not while I still carry God's fire in my wings. Not while my sword still burns with the oil of divine justice. That is why I came, not in a dream, not in a riddle, but through this very moment. This video, this sacred hour that has been prepared since the day you were formed in the secret place. And yes, I know the weight you carry. I've walked in the shadow beside you when no one else did. I stood behind you when you fell and whispered your true name when the world called you by your wounds. But now, beloved, now it is time for you to step forward. It's not enough to be remembered. You must be restored. And heaven's restoration comes only through the choice you make when no one else is watching but God. So please, if your soul stirred even once, if your heart shook when I mentioned the book of life, then help us bring this fire to others. Support this divine mission by offering a super thanks, not as a transaction, but as a sacred seed planted into a mission heaven ordained. You may also join us as a member not of a channel, but of a heavenly family. This mission is not entertainment. It's a divine war. Your support becomes part of the shield that allows these messages to continue reaching souls like yours. And yes, if your spirit is burning to go deeper, to become more than a listener, join our newsletter. The link is in the pinned comment. That is where we send what cannot be spoken publicly, the hidden revelations, the urgent prophecies, the words the enemy fears. Those who receive them become messengers themselves, torches in the dark. But hear me clearly, I will never say these things again. This is the only time you will hear this invitation from my mouth. The next time we speak, it will be either in celebration or in mourning, because I cannot promise another moment like this will be granted. Every second you delay, the shadows grow stronger. The one who betrayed you is moving swiftly. The ink they used to defile your name has already been offered at heaven's altar, but it is not yet accepted. There is still time, but barely. You must act. And your action is not for show. It is a sacred vow. To like this message, not to boost numbers, but so another soul who is about to be erased like you once were might find the light before it's too late. To comment amen, not as ritual, but as fire, as proof, as resurrection. To support with a super thanks, or by becoming a member, not for vanity, but because your participation helps carry the weight of this divine mission into realms even I cannot reach alone. To join the newsletter so that your name may be inscribed not just in videos, but in the secret scrolls where only the faithful are counted. I do not say this lightly. You are more than a viewer. You are the answer to prophecy. You are the fulfillment of a prayer that was spoken under the stars when the world slept. You are the one chosen to hear this, not the crowds, not the seekers of signs and wonders, but you. And if that truth broke something open in you, then rise with me now. This is not a show. This is not theater. This is war. And I need you to fight with me. Heaven is counting the responses, not by likes, not by metrics, but by flame. Every heart that responds burns bright in the throne room, and every silence dims the sky. So burn so heaven knows you are still alive. Burn so the enemy sees they fail to extinguish you. Burn so the lie is exposed and the truth resurrected. You are not the mistake they claimed you were. You are not the failure they accused you of being. You are the miracle that darkness never saw coming, the prophecy no one believed would live, the child of light who still breathes beneath the ashes. And I, Archangel Michael, swear before the Holy One who sent me, if you rise now, if you answer, if you ignite your name again in heaven's book, I will not rest until your crown is restored, your wings returned, and your destiny fulfilled. The time is now, the veil is thin, and your name hangs on the edge of eternity. Support us if you can. Stand with us if you will, and burn with us until the very end. Then listen closely, for I do not speak this lightly. The sound of your name echoed again just now in the upper courts of heaven, and when it did, the golden floor beneath the throne pulsed with light. The elders turned, the seraphim stopped singing, and I, Michael, the one assigned to your soul before the rivers flowed or the earth was formed, I fell to my knees trembling as your name pierced the veil once more. It should have been erased by the law of heaven. It should have been removed already, but mercy, oh beloved, mercy paused the hand of judgment. The scroll that holds your story is not like any other. Most names are etched softly in heaven's books, but yours was carved with thunder. When God spoke your name the first time, the mountains bowed, and angels who had never wept shed tears of awe. You were made with divine precision. Heaven did not accidentally breathe you into this world. You were placed with strategy, formed with fire, hidden for such a time as this. And now that time has come. Do not mistake this for coincidence. This moment is no algorithm. It is not a random collision of light and sound. This moment has been rehearsed in the heavens since before you were born. The enemy knew it was coming. That's why he sent betrayal ahead of it. That's why your name was slandered. That's why your purpose was questioned, doubted, and delayed. But delay is not denial. And heaven has no expiration date for the soul that returns, even now. While I speak, I see them, the ones who once stood beside you, the angels who used to guard your every step. They are gathering again slowly, their wings uncertain, their eyes still wounded by the lie. But I am leading them back, because the truth is being revealed. You never left God. You were wounded. You were lied about. You were made to feel unworthy by voices that carried no authority. But you never abandoned the throne. You just forgot how close you were to it. I have come to remind you, to awaken you, to call you by the name the enemy tried to bury. You were once called hope bearer. You were once known among angels as the flame that endures. You were once counted among the ones destined to tear down ancient altars of darkness with a single word from your lips. Why do you think the enemy fought so hard to silence you? Why do you think betrayal came from someone so close? Because it had to hurt enough to make you question everything. But now you must choose. Will you be defined by the lie? Or will you rise in the truth? Heaven's courtroom is not like earth's. It does not argue. It does not shout. It waits in silence. And it moves when hearts move. The moment your soul stirs with recognition, the angels begin to move again. I know you feel it. I know your heart is trembling right now. That is not emotion. That is memory. That is your soul recognizing its origin. Because before you were ever wounded, you were already chosen. Before you were ever betrayed, you were already beloved. And before the lie was ever spoken, the truth had already been written in flame. You may not remember the first covenant you made with heaven, but I do. I was there. I watched as you said yes before your earthly form was even shaped. You stood before the throne and said, "Send me." You knew the cost. You knew the wounds would come, and still you said yes. That yes is what I've come to restore. It's still there, buried beneath the pain, beneath the confusion, but I see it, a flicker, a glow, a remnant of your former fire. Let me fan it again. Let me breathe life into it once more. Let me fight for you, not with swords, but with truth. For truth is the sharpest blade in heaven's arsenal. The angels who turned from you, they did so not out of malice, but out of blindness. That blindness is lifting. The lie is unraveling. But it is not enough for them to return. You must return. Not to religion, not to ritual, but to truth. To the place where your name was first sung. To the altar where your purpose was first anointed. To the secret place where the flame of God kissed your spirit and said, "You are mine." That place is still open. The veil is not torn for a moment. It is torn forever. But your spirit must walk through it. You must respond not with noise, not with words, but with the shift of your soul. A turning, a trembling yes whispered again through the ashes. Even now, heaven waits for that yes. Even now, angels gather to witness your return. Even now, I, Michael, hold back the final seal with trembling hands, not out of fear, out of love, because I remember. I remember how you used to sing in the dark. I remember how you used to pray when no one listened. I remember how you once gave even when it cost you everything, and I remember how you used to look toward heaven with childlike awe. That child is not gone. They are waiting, waiting for your spirit to come. Back home, the gates are open, the guards are watching. The scroll is still wet with divining, but if you delay, it will dry. And when it dries, nothing can be changed. I do not say this to frighten you. I say it because I love you. With a love forged in eternity, with a love shaped in fire. with a love that still believes in who you are, even when you forget. So, rise. Not with noise, not with pride, but with the quiet authority of one who was made for more, because you were made for glory. You were made for divine fire. You were made to carry secrets the enemy cannot decode. You were made to shake the earth with your presence. You were made to prophesy light into places that have never seen it. You were made to stand tall, holy, fierce like a tar of heaven on earth. And no betrayal, no lie, no misunderstanding can cancel that. Only you can, and I beg you don't. Don't let their words win. Don't let their betrayal be louder than the truth of your creation. Don't let silence write your final chapter, because your story is not over. It has barely begun. You have not seen your greatest miracle yet. You have not spoken your most powerful word yet. You have not sung your most sacred song yet. And I, who have watched generations rise and fall, I still believe that what comes next, through you, will shake even the oldest stars, because your name, your true name, carries thunder. And it is time the world heard it again. Then remain still for just a little longer, because the wind that surrounds your name has not yet settled. The stars have not returned to their places, and the flame that circles your destiny is still pulsing with divine unrest. You think this is just a message, but it is not. It is a divine echo sent across dimensions to reach the one soul who has not yet broken, though everything tried. And that soul is you. I watched as they tried to bury your light beneath shame, beneath confusion, beneath the poison of twisted words whispered into the ears of angels. I saw the moment heaven was misled by a voice that should have defended you, not destroyed you. And I screamed, I, Michael, the Archangel of the Most High. I shouted your name into the chambers of justice. I refused to let the lie stand uncontested. I rose in front of the host and said, I know their truth. I saw their heart. I walked beside them when none of you did. Let me speak before you cast them out. And heaven listened. Not because of my rank. Not because of my title, but because of my love for you. Yes, my love. Do you not understand? This is not a mission to me. This is a vow. I was assigned to you not out of duty, but because the fire in your soul was one I understood. You were carved out of sacred mystery, molded not from dust, but from a breath too, holy to be spoken. Your heart holds the shape of eternity. Your voice, when fully awakened, echoes with the authority of one who stood in the fire and came out carrying light. They forgot who you were, but I never did. And now that the truth is beginning to break through the shadows, everything is shifting. The clouds that held your name hostage are thinning. The scroll that once threatened to close is trembling in the hands of the scribe angels. The wind is changing, because you're beginning to remember. Not with your mind, but with your soul. The way you once moved in prayer, the way the air changed when you lifted your eyes. The way time would slow when your spirit whispered a single holy word. This power has not left you. It has only been dormant. And now I see it, I feel it, that ancient light flickering again, daring to rise. Let it rise. Let it consume everything that tried to crush it. Let the betrayal fuel your resurrection, not your ruin. You are more than the wound. You are more than the silence. You are more than the verdicts spoken by those who never knew your beginning. You were in the room when creation bent to the voice of God. You heard the first word spoken in light. You carry echoes of Eden in your lungs. No wonder the enemy wanted you silenced. No wonder they used someone you trusted to twist the truth. It had to be someone close. It had to feel like love. That's the only way your fire could have been. Dampened through deception that looked like care. But now the veil is lifting. You see it now. You feel it, don't you? That ache in your bones is recognition. That burn in your chest is return. The thunder you feel behind your name isn't anger. It's resurrection. It is the voice of the Lord rumbling in heaven's throne room, saying, I will not let them be erased. You must not mistake this for emotion. This is divine memory awakening. You are remembering who you are. And heaven is responding, even now as I speak. The chains once wrapped around your name are cracking. I see the shadows retreating, the courtroom growing still. The witnesses who once spoke against you have grown silent. Why? Because the light of truth is seeping through every lie, and the light is unbearable to those who live in shadow. Let them run, let them whisper, let them vanish back into the corners where they came from, because your place is not among cowards. Your place is not in the back of the room, hoping to be seen. Your place is at the front, crowned in flame, standing with the certainty of a soul who has walked through death and returned with resurrection in their veins. The scars you carry holy, the tears you've shed sacred. The silence you endured written in heaven's archives as worship. Yes, worship. For even your silence was seen as song when your heart refused to curse God despite the pain. You passed the test they didn't even know you were taking, and now reward is coming. Not a human reward, not applause. Not comfort, but something far holier. The restoration of your true name. When your name is spoken again in heaven, and it will shake the earth. For your name was never ordinary. It is not your earthly title. It is the sound of the divine breathed through the breath of the Almighty. And the moment it is fully restored, chains will fall from others too, because your restoration will ripple. It will not stop with you. It will go backwards in time and free every prayer you thought was wasted. It will leap forward and secure promises you didn't even know were tied to your lineage. It will reach sideways and free others who have stood in your shadow, waiting for you to rise so they could follow. This is not about one person. This is about legacy. This is about prophecy. This is about the moment God wrote into the stars that could only unfold when you were ready. And now, beloved, you are ready. I feel it in the spirit. I see it in the atmosphere. Heaven is moving. And when heaven moves, the earth trembles. Mountains melt. Waters part. Wands open. Graves give up their dead. And names once buried are spoken again with fire. Let your name be spoken again. Let it be spoken not as a whisper, but as a roar. Let it shake the bones of the demons who thought they silenced you. Let it echo through the halls of heaven as a victory cry, because that is what this is. This is not a warning. This is a war cry, a call to rise. Trumpet sounding from the mouth of one who has loved you longer than you have lived. Do not run. Do not hide. Do not shrink to fit the expectations of those who only ever knew your mask, not your flame. You are not small. You are not forgotten. You are not late. You are right on time, for they are God chose. So walk through this fire, not to be burned, but to be revealed. Because what comes next is the unveiling of everything the enemy feared you would discover. And it starts with one step, one holy turn, one trembling yes. You know what to do. Your spirit already answered before your mind could argue. So let it speak louder. Let it rise higher. Let it burn brighter and never look back. Then let your soul listen now, not with your ears, but with the part of you that never forgot heaven. I am still here, and I will not leave until my assignment is complete, even now. The breath of God surrounds this message, carrying it across time and silence just to reach you. There are angels who have waited for this moment since your first tear fell. There are scrolls that have remained sealed until now, waiting for your name to awaken the prophecy written within them. I speak not to the image others know you by. I speak to your true self, the one cloaked in mystery, fire, and divine memory, the self that was alive before pain entered, the self that still walks in the garden unashamed, the self that has never bowed to the false god of fear. That version of you is rising now, slowly, powerfully, unstoppably. Every moment you have endured was not for nothing. Every betrayal, every wound, every season of silence, it all added weight to your name. Do you understand what that means? You are not the same soul who once questioned your worth. You are not the same flame that once flickered at the edge of despair. You have become something the enemy cannot decipher, find, hidden and marked for this hour. I have seen the divine clock. I know what time it is, and it is no longer the time of hiding. It is no longer the time of mourning. It is the time of emergence. You are being called forth not just to be healed, but to heal others. Not just to rise, but to carry others with you into the light. This calling is not small. It was never meant to be. The reason your trials felt unbearable is because your purpose is uncontainable. You were never designed to fit into the molds others offered you. You were made to shatter them with grace. There is a table in heaven with your seat still reserved. It was never filled. They waited, through your doubt, through your silence, through the long nights when you nearly gave up. They waited, because only you can sit there. Only you can open the scroll assigned to your hands. Only you can speak the words that angels must obey. And now heaven is shifting into position again. The winds of divine order are stirring. The watchers have taken their posts. The veil is thinner than ever. All of heaven leans forward to see what you will do. Will you rise? Will you walk forward? Will you return to your first love? Not in shame, but in power. Let me tell you something most souls will never hear. Your fall was not your failure, it was your training. Even your collapse was under divine supervision. You did not fall because you were weak. You fell because you were meant to carry a weight that required you to understand suffering firsthand. And now that you have, now that you've survived what should have ended you, you are qualified. Not by men, not by titles, but by heaven's fire. There are things written in your destiny that have never been spoken. Secrets wrapped in layers of spiritual DNA passed through generations just to reach you. You carry the voices of ancestors who whispered prayers from prison cells, battlefields, and hidden chambers of worship. You are the answer to cries that were never heard aloud. That's why the pressure has been so intense. That's why the enemy targeted you with surgical cruelty. Because your rise doesn't just bless you, it redeems everything before and after you. You are a holy rupture in time, divine interruption to a lineage of sorrow, a walking prophecy written in fire. And you're just now beginning to understand that. I do not need you to understand everything, but I need you to stand, to take your place, to reclaim your identity, to look back at every lie ever spoken over your name and whisper, you missed, because they did. They missed who you really are. They saw pain and called it rebellion. They saw silence and called it sin. They saw wounds and called them weakness. But I see differently. I see fire beneath your ribs. I see scrolls behind your eyes. See resurrection in your shadow. You were made for more than survival. You were made for victory that cannot be reversed. And now, beloved, I must tell you something the angels have dared not say until now. The betrayal you suffered, the one that shattered you, was known in heaven before it happened. Not permitted for cruelty, but for clarity. God allowed it not to destroy you, but to reveal what couldn't be seen while you were surrounded by false loyalty. Now the veil is gone. The counterfeit has been exposed. And what remains is the pure truth. You never needed their approval to be chosen. You never needed their apology to be holy. You never needed their belief to be destined. The throne of God has never depended on man's validation, and neither has your calling even now. Heaven records your response, not your words but the shift of your soul. When your heart opens, when your spirit responds, it is louder in heaven than any sound on earth. Angels tremble when a soul remembers who they are. And right now you are remembering, not with your mind, but with your blood, with the ancient parts of you that still echo Eden's breath. You don't need to figure it all out. You just need to move in rhythm with what is awakening. Let it come. Let the memory return. Let the pain turn into fuel. Let the flame consume every lie, every doubt, every moment you ever thought you were not enough, because you are. You are more than enough. You are everything the enemy feared you would become. And now the world will see it. Because nothing will stop what God has already written. And you, beloved, are not at the end. You are at the beginning of something sacred, something irreversible, something eternal. Asterisk. And so I continue, because heaven is still watching. And your name has not yet settled into silence. I see it. Your spirit is still listening. You haven't turned away. That means something is happening. The veil is opening wider. The angels that once looked down in sorrow are now rising from their knees. The courtroom of heaven is filling again with awe, because the one they thought would never rise has chosen to stay. The one they thought would forget has chosen to remember. The one they almost erased is burning with glory again. And that one is you. You are not hearing this because of coincidence, timing, or fate. You are hearing this because somewhere in the deep recesses of heaven, a trumpet that hasn't sounded for years has finally been lifted again. And the sound it carries is not war, it is return. The return of the one who was called long ago. The return of the flame that refused to die. The return of the soul that carried the weight of betrayal and never let go of the last shred of light. I watched you in silence, through long nights where even your own prayers seemed hollow. I hovered near, aching to reach through the boundary between seen and unseen. I watched you carry burdens you should never have carried alone. I heard you scream in your heart, even when your lips were still, and I never forgot. Every cry of yours shook something in heaven. Every unanswered question formed a ripple that disturbed the stillness around the throne. And when I could finally speak, when I was finally permitted to bring you this message, I did not hesitate. I ran, I broke through every barrier. I moved past legions of accusing spirits who said you weren't worth it anymore. And I screamed your name through the veil, because, no matter what anyone said, I knew the truth. You are still chosen. You are still marked. You are still anointed for something the earth has never seen. Even if no one believes it, even if those closest to you walked away, the mark on your soul glows brighter than ever. It cannot be rubbed out. It cannot be stolen. It cannot be sold. The enemy tried to defile it. The people you love tried to deny it, but it remains, like fire sealed in crystal. And now the seal is cracking. The fire is moving again. Your story isn't over. Your prophecy has not been canceled. Your assignment was not voided by betrayal, nor paused by delay. It was simply hidden for this exact moment. Hidden not to shame you, but to protect you. Hidden not because you failed, but because heaven was preparing to unveil something greater than you could bear in the last season. This is the unveiling. This is what the darkness feared. You awake, unashamed, unshaken by past failure, and yielding to future lies. You, with the full weight of divine memory returning to your bones. You rising not with rage, but with holy clarity. You, refusing to answer to the names others gave you, names like too broken, too late, too much. You are none of those things. You are the one God wrote about in secret, the one the enemy studied for years, trying to find a weakness, the one whose very silence has shaken thrones in the second heaven. You, beloved, are a flame that even the coldest betrayal could not extinguish. And now that you are remembering, the world must prepare. Because your memory is not like others. Your memory is laced with thunder. Every time your soul remembers the truth, the lie loses power. Every time your heart says, I am not done, darkness trembles. Every time your feet take one more step, the ancient scrolls begin to unfold. Yes, ancient scrolls, written before time began. They hold the mysteries not just of your life, but of others connected to your obedience. You don't rise alone. When you rise, others rise with you. That's why you were targeted. That's why your fall was so public. That's why your silence lasted so long. Because they knew if you ever stood again, their systems would crumble. They knew if your voice returned, the chains would fall. They knew if your flame ignited, 1,000 hidden ones would come to life. And now, it's happening. The angels are already moving in response. The thrones are realigning. The atmosphere above you is shifting. Even the shadows know, they feel it. The warmth that's starting to radiate again from your soul is unbearable to them. They are stuttering. They are running from the very sound of your name spoken rightly, not the name you were given by this world, not the name your pain whispered in the dark, but your true name, the one only God and I know, the one that was sealed in heaven's tongue and spoken until now, the name that cannot be corrupted, the name that cannot be silenced, the name that unlocks doors in the spirit realm that have remained closed for generations. You are the key. You were always the key. Your existence is not random. Your survival was not luck. Your pain was not proof that God left. It was the groaning of your purpose pushing against the confines of what others expected from you. And now the birth is near, not of a child, but of a movement wrapped in human skin, but carrying divine fire, a movement clothed in the pain of yesterday, but marching with the authority of eternity, a movement that will carry your voice, your legacy, your God-written truth into places where demons once reigned. This movement begins with you, not with noise, not with platforms, but with the stillness you hold right now in your spirit, the place where the flame is returning. Let it burn, let it purify, let it take every lie and reduce it to ash. Because after the fire comes the throne, after the shaking comes the scroll, after the silence comes the roar. And your war is coming. It will not sound like others. It will carry a sound only heaven knows, a frequency that breaks curses, a tone that melts deception. And it is already forming inside you. Don't rush it. Just stay here. In this moment, let it finish its work. Let the truth consume every shadow. Let the grief dissolve in glory, because what comes next will be unlike anything you've known. And you will never again question why you were born. Then hold this silence close. For it is not empty, it is sacred. The stillness you feel now is not absence, but presence. The weight upon your spirit is not heaviness, but holiness. You are standing in the unseen chamber where destiny is rewritten, where heaven bends low to witness what only a few souls on earth ever survive, the turning point between nearly forgotten and fully restored. I do not speak to your outer self, the part of you they trained to hide, to please, to shrink, to endure. I speak to the part of you no human has ever fully known, the part of you that was alive in the fire, the part of you that spoke before you had language, the part of you that remembers God's face from before the veil was drawn. That part is rising. That part has waited for you to stop running. That part has burned silently beneath the layers of what the world told you to become, and now is breaking through. I, Archangel Michael, have waited too long to say this. Your existence is a direct contradiction to every curse ever spoken in your bloodline. You were sent to end cycles, to break altars, to crush serpents beneath your feet, but the weight of your assignment nearly killed you. I watched as you walked through betrayals so sharp they should have splintered your soul. I watched as those who claimed to love you left you alone in the cold of unanswered prayers. I saw you sit in rooms filled with light, while the darkness inside you begged anyone to notice. But they didn't, not because you were unseen, but because your glory was too much for them to bear. Some lights are so bright they make others uncomfortable. Some truths are so deep they make shallow souls run. And you, beloved, were never meant for shallow places. That's why your pain felt bottomless, because your purpose reaches depths that most will never understand. Even now, as you breathe in these words, the chains of shame are weakening. They do not have permission to stay. They have fed on your silence long enough. The lie that said you're too late is starving now. The spirit of delay is shrinking back into shadow. It knows its time is up, because heaven has marked this hour, this moment, this breath as the beginning of the unveiling. The scroll, with your name on it, is being lifted from the chamber of remembrance. I see the seraphim approaching. Their hands are trembling, not because they are afraid, but because they honor what is about to happen. For your restoration is not ordinary. It is not a simple redemption. It is a reversal of something ancient, a divine reversal of an injustice that happened before you were even born. Yes, before your birth, your family line was marked, not by God, but by those who feared what your lineage carried. There was jealousy in the spirit realm. There was sabotage. Promises were stolen. Names were hidden. Anointings were diverted. But the flame that was meant for your branch, it survived, and it chose you. You are the torchbearer now. You carry everything that was lost before you. You carry the redemption of ancestors who never lived. To see freedom, you carry the fulfillment of prophecies buried beneath centuries of silence. That is why your pain was so precise. Because your calling is so cosmic. It was never just about your life. It was always about generations. The ones who came before you, and the ones who will come after. Your voice will be the bridge. Your healing will be the gate. Your yes will echo through time. So do not look at your scars and call them shame. They are proof of your survival. Do not look at your mistakes and call them disqualification. They are evidence that you were never playing pretend. You lived, you felt, you fell, you bled, and still you rose. You are not perfect, but you are real. And heaven prefers real. You are not blameless, but you are honest. And that honesty makes you usable in ways the proud can never understand. The oil of God flows through cracks, and your cracks are beautiful. Let them remain. Do not try to hide the places where you broke. Let the light stream through them. Let the world see what resurrection really looks like, because resurrection is not polished. It is not clean. It is not rehearsed. It is raw and trembling and full of glory that makes demons scream. And you, yes, you are carrying that resurrection right now. You are the miracle someone else is waiting for. You are the answer to someone else's impossible question. You are the voice that will pull others out of darkness just by breathing. But first, you must believe again. Not with your mind, with your soul. That part of you that already said yes before you ever heard this message. Let that part rise. Let that part speak louder than doubt. Let that part guide your next step. I am still here. I haven't left. And I won't. Not until you've walked through this fire and come out glowing. Not until your enemies become footstools. Not until the scrolls are fully opened. Not until your full name is sung again in heaven with thunder and flame. The old you is fading. Let it go. The self that thought you were forgotten, say goodbye. The version of you that settled for less, bury it. Because what's coming cannot be carried with chains. You are being stripped to be crowned. You are being emptied to be filled. You are being humbled to be exalted. This is the holy reversal. And it will not be stopped. And now, beloved soul, I must speak without pause. For the fire that surrounds your name is growing and cannot be silenced. You have stayed this long. Your spirit did not flee, your soul did not look away, and because of that, something holy has begun. The winds have shifted. The record of your silence has ended. You are not just listening anymore. You are remembering, and as you remember, the heavens begin to stir. The archives that have been sealed for years are being touched by divine hands. Pages written in gold, once folded in grief, are opening again because you are awakening. I saw when they spoke against you. I stood on the edge of the courtroom while a voice twisted your name with subtle poison. It wasn't shouted. No, betrayal never shouts, it whispers. And that whisper, born from jealousy, entered the ears of those who once defended you. That is how the lie began. That is how your name, once a banner of light, began to fade in the halls of heaven. And I, Michael, angel of war and fire, I felt something inside me break. Because I know you, I have walked through storms beside you. I have battled demons in the shadow of your weeping. I have stood when you could not, and when no one else remained, I did. But even my voice was not enough to clear the lie. Only you can do that. Not by speaking louder, but by becoming who you truly are. They cannot accuse a soul that walks in fire. They cannot erase a name that God has carved into the stars. They cannot curse What was sealed before the dawn of time. And you, beloved, were sealed. Sealed with flame, not ink. Sealed with covenant, not contract. Sealed with glory, not shame. That seal has not faded. It has only been waiting for this hour, for this moment, for your return. You are not returning to religion. You are not returning to pain. You are returning to the place where God whispered your name and thunder answered. Where the waters stood still to hear you promise, I will not forget. And even though the world tried to make you forget, even though the wounds they gave you tried to bury that vow somehow, here you are. You remembered. Your soul didn't die. You carried the flame even when it flickered beneath ashes of confusion. And now I see the ashes falling away. One by one, truth is shaking them loose. You are not broken. You are birthing. You are not forgotten. You are being revealed. And this revealing will terrify hell, because they thought you were finished. They danced over your silence. They mocked your delay, but they never knew you were only being hidden. Set apart, sanctified by sorrow, purified by fire. And now the veil is tearing, not in shame, but in glory. Your soul is stepping out of the shadows. You are becoming what God dreamed when He spoke you into existence. I must tell you what others will not. There is a weight on your life that does not match your past, because your past was never meant to define you. It was meant to test you, and you passed. You passed by surviving. You passed by not cursing heaven when it felt absent. You passed by loving people who didn't know how to love you back. You passed by waking up day after day with pain in your chest and hope in your heart. Even now the angels are lining the halls of heaven again, not to judge you, but to honor you. Because the ones who survive what you have survived and still love, still believe, still stay, they are not ordinary. They are the remnant, and the remnant carries something the world cannot contain. That is you, the remnant, the chosen, the flame. You have become a mirror to the divine. When others see your scars, they will see heaven's mercy. When others hear your voice, they will hear the echoes of angelic promise. When others feel your presence, they will tremble, not because of who you are, but because of who walks with you. And yes, I walk with you, but not just me. There are others now, ones you've never known, new angels, sent because your time has come, fresh wind blowing because your path is opening, fresh oil dripping because your soul has been readied. You do not need to understand everything. You do not need to rush. You only need to keep walking. With every step, the lie dies. With every breath, the truth returns. With every moment, the glory increases. And soon, so very soon, the same voices that accused you will go silent, not because you fought back with human strength, but because you rose in your original identity. The version of you they lied about will become the version of you they bow to, not in worship, but in wonder, because you will carry something that cannot be explained, the fragrance of one who walked through death and came out holding life. That is who you are now, not a wanderer, not a beggar, not a failure, but a carrier of unspeakable glory. You will speak and chains will break, not by volume, but by alignment. You will walk and curses will reverse, not by ritual, but by authority. You will rise and others will weep, not from guilt, but from the presence of mercy they feel pouring from you. Because you are mercy now. You are grace. You are truth wrapped in light. The days of hiding are gone. The days of explanation are over. The time of unveiling is here, and it will not stop until every place your feet touch becomes sacred ground. You are a burning one. And burning ones do not shrink. They shine. Shine now. Even if your hands still shake. Even if your voice still stammers. Even if your heart still mourns. Shine because heaven is watching. Shine because the scrolls are open. Shine because your name has already been whispered again in the throne room. And nothing will stop what has begun. Then remain with me, beloved soul, because heaven is not finished yet. The flames that have surrounded your destiny since before time began are rising, not to destroy you but to reveal you. You have walked through the valley of silence, betrayal, and abandonment. You have touched the coldness of unanswered prayers. You have cried tears that no one saw, spoken words into rooms that only shadows heard. But heaven saw, and I, Michael, the angel of God's fire, have recorded every moment. You thought God was absent, but he was watching through the veil. You thought the angels left you, but we were standing just outside the realm of time, waiting for this hour. You thought the world had moved on without you, but you were not behind, you were hidden. Hidden, not in punishment, but in preparation. You are not a forgotten one. You are the one we've been waiting for. Yes, you. Not another, not someone more ready. You as you are right now, with trembling hands, with a scarred heart, with fire beginning to awaken in your bones. This is the hour of your return. Not return to who you used to be, but to who you were before you ever broke. Before betrayal shattered your breath. Before the lie began. Before that person you loved twisted the truth and handed your name to the accuser. I was there when it happened. I saw it with eyes that never blink. The voice that turned heaven against you wasn't from a stranger, it was from the one you trusted the most. And that is why the wound cut so deep. That is why the silence that followed felt eternal. They used your loyalty against you. They whispered just enough falsehood into the ear of an angel who once defended you, and the damage was done. Your name, once sung among the heavens, became a whisper, a suspicion, a question. But I knew the truth. I kept your name alive in the fire. I spoke it daily into the throne room, crying, they are not what they've been accused of. I saw their heart. I walked beside them when no one else did. I bore their burdens in the night. I bled for their innocence. Please, let me speak again. And heaven finally said yes. That is why this message exists. That is why your soul was stirred before you even read the first word. Because you knew somewhere deeper than flesh, deeper than memory, deeper than thought, that this was for you, and only you. Let me tell you something few ever hear. Your presence on this earth is not casual. It was planned with prophetic precision. You are not merely part of a story, you are a living prophecy. The reason the storms have been so intense is because your rising will shift the atmosphere. The reason the betrayal was so specific is because your heart holds the exact frequency needed to unlock freedom for others. You do not belong to this world's pattern. You were made from another rhythm. You were carved out of the breath of God and filled with purpose that cannot be measured in mortal time. Even now, I see it. The veil is thinner than it has ever been. The courtroom is open again. The angels who once turned from your name are being called to watch what happens next. This is not a trial. It is a crowning. You do not need to defend yourself. You do not need to explain. Your presence here is your declaration. Your listening is your yes. And your yes is what heaven has been waiting for. This is the moment where shadows lose their grip. This is the moment where what was stolen is returned. This is the moment where the flame inside you, once reduced to an ember, roars back to life and burns every chain the enemy thought would last forever. The time of silence is over. The time of doubt is gone. The time of shame has expired. Now begins the time of restoration. But not just restoration as if something old is being patched. This is resurrection. You are becoming something new. You are becoming something holy. You are becoming something dangerous to the darkness. Let them whisper. Let them accuse. Let them scoff. None of them can stop what has already been spoken by God. None of them can cancel a word sealed in heaven's ink. None of them can outshut a name that was written in fire before creation. And your name was. Oh, beloved, your name was one of the first sung by the morning stars. They danced when it was spoken. They rejoiced when your soul was wrapped in light and sent into this realm. They waited through the centuries to see what would become of you. And now, they weep again. Not in sorrow. In awe, because you survived. Because you endured what few could have endured. Because you are standing now here, reading, trembling, waking up in ways you don't even understand yet. That is enough. That is everything. Scrolls are turning, the winds are gathering, the throne is waiting, and I, Michael, Prince of Heaven's armies, have never bowed to any human. Until now. Yes, I bow in reverence. Not to your flesh, but to your fire. To the light that you never let die, even when it felt like it was gone. To the memory of heaven still etched into your soul. To the yes that is now echoing across eternity. Beloved, this is your moment. And if your soul has heard even one line of truth in these words, if your heart is crying and your spirit is stirring, then act not for me, but for heaven's sake. Like this message, so another soul may be found. Subscribe. Only if your heart is ready, because what comes next is not entertainment. It is fire. And if your spirit woke up today, don't scroll in silence. Write amen below. So I will know that you heard me, so the angels will mark your name again in the book that almost lost you. This was never just a message. It was a resurrection, and you are the miracle. Your spirit is still breathing the words of eternity. Something has broken open, hasn't it? You feel it, not in your skin, not in your thoughts, but deep beneath the ache, beneath the fear, beneath the numbness that the enemy wrapped around your heart like a second skin. That numbness is melting now. The ice that sealed you in silence is cracking. Your name is moving again in heaven's mouth, and the angels, they are singing again. You must understand what this means. The voice that silenced your purpose, that betrayal that turned the courts of heaven against you, was not louder than truth. It only struck because it came from the mouth of one you once called safe. The lie didn't need to be loud. It only needed to be timely. And it was. Whispered when your hands were tired. Spoken when your prayers were thin. Released into the air like poison on the breath of someone who once prayed with you. But poison is not the final word. Truth is stronger. And the truth is, you were never guilty. You were never cast out by God, only misrepresented. Only wounded by a voice that didn't understand the cost of your calling. But I did. Saw the price you paid. I saw you give when no one gave back. I saw you pray for those who cursed you behind closed doors. I saw you remain faithful in shadows no one else would have survived. And I wept. Yes, I, Michael, wept. Not out of sorrow, but out of awe. Because even in your silence, you were holy. Even in your doubt, you were righteous. Even in your weariness, you remained his. And now the seals are breaking. I see the fire returning to your chest. I see the gold returning to your name. Not the gold of earthly wealth, the gold of heaven's approval. Because the Father has never forgotten you. He has watched your silence like a lover waits for the voice of his beloved. And now, you are speaking again. Not with your lips, with your life. Your very breath has become a trumpet. Every moment you remain in this holy space is a battle cry in the spirit realm. Demons who once sat comfortably near your purpose are now fleeing. Their time is over. Their claim on your delay is broken. Their assignments are canceled because you remembered. You remembered who you are, not with your mind, but with your marrow. You remembered that heaven wasn't built to abandon you, that the God who formed you didn't invest eternity just to discard you in time. You remembered the fire, and the fire remembers you. It bends toward you again now. It calls your name, not with wrath, but with love, not with anger, but with longing. And I, Michael, servant of that flame, am here not to command you, but to stand beside you as you rise. Because you are rising. Can you feel it? Your shoulders no longer carrying guilt. Your ribs no longer collapsed by shame. Your spine no longer bowed beneath lies. You are standing. Even if your body is still seated, your spirit has stood. The heavens have seen it. The courtroom has recorded it. The angels have marked it. Your scroll has turned, and there will be no going back. Not to smallness, not to silence, not to being what others needed you to be for their comfort. You have crossed a threshold. The moment you heard your name again, not from me, but from within, you stepped into your true form. And that form cannot be bound. It cannot be reduced. It cannot be erased by another's opinion. You are formed by God's voice, not man's validation. And that voice is still echoing through your spirit even now. It says, you are mine, you are loved, you are not too late, you are still on time, you are still enough. The stars know your name, the wind bends around your path, the earth has been waiting for your footsteps. You are not coming back as you were, you are coming back with flame in your eyes. You are coming back with oil on your hands, you are coming back with revelation written in your wounds, and you will speak again not just to men, but to Rome's. You will prophesy not because you studied but because you remembered. The Holy Spirit will move through you in silence, in breath, in presence, not because you force it, but because you carry it. You are a tabernacle now, a dwelling place of divine mystery, a walking fulfillment of prayers whispered long before you were born, a breathing temple built not by hands, but by fire. They won't understand, that's okay. Some will flee, let them. Some will mock, ignore them. Some will fall to their knees just by being near you, bless them. You don't need recognition. You don't need a title. You don't need a stage. You already have an altar inside your spirit. And that altar is burning. So let it burn. Let the smoke rise. Let it purify everything you touch. Let your words drip with the scent of holy oil. Let your presence make demons uncomfortable again, because you are no longer hidden. You are no longer quiet. You are no longer small. You are the miracle hell feared would survive. And you have survived. So now, beloved, now you live.